time for Top That Trade. For that, we have trading pros Alan Knuckman, the chief market strategist for BullseyeOption.com, and Phil Flynn, a Fox Business Network news contributor. Here we go, guys, with round number one, banking on 5,000. JP Morgan and Royal Bank of Canada analysts forecast the S&P 500 will be 5,000 by the end of 2022. What's the better buy, the bank ETF XLF or the S&P?
Well, I think 5,000 is an easy call. We've mentioned it here before. And this last sell-off was 250 points from the top at 47.50. So if you add that on, you're looking at 5,000, which is about 6% higher. But I think there's more potential in the banks. XLF is the bank ETF. It's been between 35 and 40 for 7 months. That target's 45. That's 15% higher. So there's a reason they keep money in the banks.
You know, it's kind of an interesting thing because the banks usually do fairly well when interest rates start to go up, and the stock market sometimes doesn't do as well. So you could see the increase of interest rates be a little bit of a drag on the stock markets, but the banks could make up for that difference. So it's the way you shuffle the deck a little bit. Obviously, the 5,000 target looks like it's in play right now. The market knows a lot of the bad news. You know, the concerns about Omicron virus seems to be fading just a bit. We know that rates are going up, and yet the market is coming back up. So that target looks good, but the banks do look a bit better.
Round number two, momentum. Research shows momentum stocks are crushing it. How should investors be bold with momentum? Should they buy and hold?
Well, you know, first of all, if you're going to do momentum, you better be on top of the market all the time. But guess what? Momentum stocks do better in a momentum market. You know, we've had one of the best bull markets in the history of the world, right, for the last couple of years. And so people are going to be moving with those stocks that are hot. Everybody's going to run to the exits. But if you're concerned about an economic slowdown, which some analysts are later next year, maybe those buy and hold stocks look good. In fact, if you compare the two, they're probably undervalued. But when we talk about momentum, when we talk about buy and hold, it comes down to you as the individual. What is your risk tolerance? And momentum stocks can make you a lot more money, but when the momentum stops, you can lose a lot too.
For me, I'm a big believer in science. The body in motion tends to stay in motion. So this strategy of buy the best and buy them to continue to boom has worked in the past. Now, there's actually an ETF that tracks momentum. The MTUM is actually done 30% better than the S&P. And some of these people have called them invincible stocks. But like Phil had said, it's all great until the music stops playing. So it depends on who you are as a trader and how you approach these markets, because there's money to be made.
Yeah, I think Alan has already almost figured out perpetual motion. He's working on it. He's this close.
Round number three, value play. The value line index has been sideways for 6 months, although stocks have continued to make new highs over and over. What does that tell you about this crazy market?
To be honest, I don't know. The value line is interesting because it's at 1,700 of the highest capitalized stocks in the market, but it's equally weighted, whereas the other indexes are based upon your share price and so forth. So this is strange. It's been traded between 9 and 10,000 for the year. That target's 11,000. That's the only way I can see it. But if you want to look at another index that's been interesting as well, the Russell 2000 had a pullback, and it's came back to a support point where it's been trading for the year. And now it's bounced. So I think that's a positive in the fact that the Russell, the small cap stocks, have still held up pretty well, even though the dollar has remained strong in all of 2021.
I love when these questions come full circle, because that goes back to our first question. You know, why are momentum stocks doing better? You know, the value line traditionally looks at bigger stocks are slower moving, so it's not going to be as exciting. I remember years ago where they used to have a futures contract on the value line that was very popular. You know, hardly anybody talks about the value line right now, but I'll tell you, those stocks are solid. So, you know, if you're getting closer to retirement and you're looking for a little less excitement, the value line stocks are still a good way to go.
Here's your bonus round question for today. True or false? McDonald's 12 Days of Christmas includes a Mariah menu, as in Mariah Carey.
Again, it's not fair to ask food questions. I'm a food expert.
Of course it's true. In fact, it's probably going to tie in with her new Christmas special, which is on one of the streaming services. I think it's Apple, but I could be wrong.
All right, guys, now you're just showing up. Clearly you are up on your Mariah Carey news. Great job today. And in the words of Miss Carey, all I want for Christmas is you.
You.
And a Big Mac.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.